Hey all you literary legends and luminaries, I'm Julie and welcome to another episode of Booksmart. Today's book is one that was all anyone could talk about a couple years ago. It's Jennette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died. I waited until I found a used copy to read it. I'm glad I didn't pay full price for it. I knew who Jennette McCurdy was based on my son watching SpongeBob. Nickelodeon advertised iCarly all the time, but I didn't know much more than that about McCurdy. Her title didn't sit well with me. My mom died in 2010 and I love my mom, so celebrating the death of your mother wasn't something I was lining up to read. But since the book finally appeared at my used bookstore, I thought, why not? I'll read it and see what all the hype was about. In my opinion, the book wouldn't have received all that much attention were it not for the title. Other than the prologue, the book is essentially chronological with a few flashbacks when necessary. I enjoyed the first part of the book when McCurdy was young. She has these short chapters which are made up of just one scene. I like that style. She captures the essence of a childhood mind well. She doesn't lament on stuff as an adult, but focuses on just what it was at the time. For about the first half of the book, I found this incredibly effective. It was engaging, funny, and very sad at times. In the beginning, her mom just appears as an overzealous stage mom. And then we find out she's very unpredictable and can have violent outbursts at home. She homeschools all her kids, so McCurdy ends up leading a very sheltered life. It's her mom who wants her to be a star, not McCurdy. McCurdy always wants to please her mom and calls her mom her best friend. The dysfunction is all there. You can feel McCurdy's perfectionism and her desire to never want to make her mom upset. She develops OCD, and her mom teaches her caloric restriction to curb McCurdy's development thanks to the onslaught of puberty. McCurdy even captures how her elementary-aged mind thinks about religion. What was most heartbreaking in about the first third of the book is when McCurdy tells her mother she no longer wants to act. And let me read you an excerpt from this. We're on our way home, in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the 101 South. I'm sitting in my booster seat since I'm still small enough to be required to sit in it. I try to work on my history homework, but I'm unable to focus because I'm too upset at myself over the audition. I was in my head during it because the scary part of me decided to try and speak up. That part of me that doesn't want to be doing this. I don't want to act anymore, I say before I even realize I've said it. Mom looks at me in the rearview mirror. A mixture of shock and disappointment fills her eyes. I immediately regret saying anything. Don't be silly. You love acting. It's your favorite thing in the world, Mom says in a way that makes it sound like a threat. I look out the window. The part of me that wants to please her thinks maybe she's right. Maybe it is my favorite thing and I just don't know it. I just don't realize it. But the part of me that doesn't want to cry on cue, that doesn't want to act, that doesn't care about pleasing Mom and just wants to please me, that part of me screams at me to speak up. My face gets hot, compelling me to say something. No, I really don't want to. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. Mom's face looked like she just ate a lemon. It contorts in a way that terrifies me. I know what's coming next. You can't quit, she sobs. This was our chance. This was our chance. She bangs on the steering wheel, accidentally hitting the horn. Mascara trickles down her cheeks. She's hysterical, like I was in Hollywood Homicide Edition. Her hysteria frightens me and demands to be taken care of. Never mind, I say loudly so Mom can hear it through her sobs. Her crying stops immediately, except for one leftover sniffle. But as soon as that sniffle is over, it's complete silence. I'm not the only one who can cry on cue. Never mind, I repeat. Let's just forget I said anything. Sorry. I wonder how many kids can relate to that, and not just with acting, but with sports or the arts or school. So many kids give away their childhoods so their parents can fulfill their own dreams. And then McCurdy lands the iCarly part. And, well, that's where the book kind of started to lose me. First of all, let me reiterate 1,000 times that unless you are Diane Keaton, every single celebrity out there is writing an autobiography, not a memoir. I'm happy as can be that McCurdy has not listed the word memoir anywhere on the book jacket, so I appreciate that. However, with a title like I'm Glad My Mom Died, you must deliver. And I just didn't always get that. So here's my complaint. About halfway through the book, when McCurdy is a bit older and experiencing fame and whatnot, her writing doesn't really grow. We still get these short chapters with one scene, and the writing still sounds like a child's. There's no reflection or understanding. She throws a bomb at us when she says out of nowhere that her mom still showers her with her 17-year-old brother and even checks her body for cancerous lumps, including her private parts. And she's a teenager. There's no revelation that mom probably shouldn't be doing that. It's glossed over. In fact, McCurdy doesn't even bring it up until she's a teenager. McCurdy doesn't really seem to process much information, but just writes out these scenes. And I'm not always sure what the purpose of some of these themes are, especially when she goes into excruciating detail about a sexual encounter, but then just casually mentions jealousy at a co-star. There doesn't appear to be any rhyme or reason why one idea is developed and the other isn't. The theme in the book that she seems to develop the most is her eating disorder, although with all the other stuff happening in the book, that too kind of gets lost in the other storylines. And then I get distracted by a detail I never put together, and that's not McCurdy's fault at all. I remember hearing about the guy from Nickelodeon who behaved questionably around children. I didn't pay much attention to it when it hit the news, much like I didn't pay all that much attention to an apparent strife between McCurdy and her co-star Ariana Grande, who I really wouldn't have known much about had I not watched Big Brother at the time her brother was on it. I do not keep up with social media and National Enquirer-like news. McCurdy refers to this high-powered person as the creator, so I Googled it. The name Dan Schneider means nothing, but he looks vaguely familiar. And then I realized it. Oh my God. It's Ricky from Better Off Dead. I should have never Googled that. Ricky will never be the same to me now. That would be like finding out Little House on the Prairie's Reverend Alden was a serial killer in his free time. I can't reconnoiter such information in my mind. But anyway, back to the book. As McCurdy ages, there's less and less information about her mother, and the stuff she does reveal isn't well developed. Like McCurdy finally gets her own apartment, but her mom sleeps over every night for 3 months. When her mom's cancer returns, it's spotty details too. After her mom dies, then McCurdy shows us how manipulative her grandma is. It's just all so sparse and sporadic. Those short chapters that each have a scene just aren't as effective once McCurdy gets older. When McCurdy's mom dies, the story doesn't much focus on that at all. Only until the last chapter do we have any sense that McCurdy is done with her mother. But there's no development in between. For a celebrity memoir, sure, that's pretty normal when an actor jams their whole life into 300 pages and develops events that don't always seem that important to the reader, making sure they name drop as many other celebrities as possible. But McCurdy's book was different simply because of its title. I can infer why McCurdy is glad her mom died on 1,000 different levels, but she herself doesn't develop those revelations. Even when she writes about her therapy, she's still defending her mother. And then we suddenly get to the end and McCurdy writes that it will be her last time visiting her mom's grave. It just feels very disconnected to me. I'm not minimizing any of McCurdy's experiences or the child abuse she endured at the hands of her mother, but the way McCurdy wrote about it all didn't come together for me. So, was I glad my mom worth the hype? No, it wasn't. Was it worth the read? Yes, it was worth the read. McCurdy's unique style of writing was a pleasure to read, especially in the beginning of the book. The title, though, was what got everyone reading, which was a brilliant marketing strategy. No one really cares about a celebrity's writing ability or style. We read it to get the dirt, the gossip, the intricate details that for some reason we delight in. McCurdy's shocking details about her childhood, as well as her allegations against Ricky and her rivalry with Ariana Grande, got and kept everyone talking. All that propelled McCurdy's book into the spotlight, selling over 2 million copies, according to my book jacket. Was it better than any other celebrity memoir I've read? Maybe, but not to the point of selling 2 million copies. If you don't keep up with the trends like me and you have yet to read I'm Glad My Mom Died, I'd suggest finding a used copy, or better yet, just getting it from the library. Overall, McCurdy's story is one of those unfortunate childhood star experiences that is all too similar to other celebrity memoirs I've read. I do appreciate that she shared her story, one that discusses abuse, eating disorders, and the dark underside of children's TV. May we all pause and think when our own children are fanning over their childhood idols. Not everyone is like Michael Landon, making sure children stay children on TV sets. Thanks for watching. As always, my goal at Booksmart is to get a little bit smarter, one book at a time.